pandemic, as declared by the World Health Organization on March 11th, 2020. And before we have any discussion or comments about it, we would like to turn it over to Egan. Do you have any comments you want to make on behalf of emergency management?
We've been in contact weekly with we've had some emergency official meetings, I say official, but just been in communication with our local hospitals, other municipalities, as well as our Sheriff's Office, Texas Division of Emergency Management, and Department of State Health Services as part of Lavaca County. We've been fortunate right now because we do have 4 active cases in the county, 2 recovered, which that should reflect on today's report. Other 2 still active. The only messaging that we are continuing to send out is the hygiene and the social distancing. We are following the orders from the governor's office, and that has gone through the sheriff's office as well as the municipalities in the county of Lavaca, that they're enforcing the community gathering and things like that. But right now, I mean, we're just taking it day to day, and that's really there's not much new to it until we hear from the governor's office, which he is anticipated to have a statement tomorrow.
Great. And I can tell just personally, it's growing old, I guess you'd say. I think everyone is kind of getting frustrated with the process. It's been 30 days or 1 month ago today that we signed the proclamation to bring us into a disaster situation. So if anything, today we have to extend that declaration. That's kind of the biggest item we have to do today. Is there any other comments or discussions? Ms. Berger, you have a question?
Yes, I was just concerned. I want to make sure we're going by Governor Abbott's guidelines, and I didn't know if there was discussion as to how, because I saw on the agenda that it was like noting the UN's WHO, and I think those guidelines are a little bit different. What's different in New York is different from Texas.
Correct.
And I wanted to see and check to see if we're going by the guidelines of Governor Abbott and what he had put forth.
We are. I mean, to the best of our abilities, we're going under Governor Abbott's gubernatorial authority.
Okay.
We have not put any extra regulations or enforcement into our proclamation. I know that there's been some community. Several of the cities have had some incidences within their cities with some things, and they have not acted either to put something further into action.
Okay. Well, I noticed we've had a lot of, I think we've had more traffic through here and people from out of town than we've ever had before. And I'm very grateful that our community had 4 cases.
Correct.
And I noticed there's a lot of limits in the grocery store and in Walmart. But is there anything that you see coming up that we will have to police them from coming in and stripping our shelves or anything? Or do you think that's going to taper off?
I would say it's probably anyone's guess. That's probably the biggest fear that we've all had, is having to take that kind of action. In a free market society, it's hard. How do you just police who gets what and how? Scary times, I would say, for certain. But I think that our societies here, at least our countywide, we're handling it very well. And we're not running a police state where we're stopping traffic coming through our town. There's through traffic in our highways and our interstates. So I know Louisiana is an issue. The governor has stated people coming from Louisiana that it's kind of become a problem. But at this point, we're just trying to do the best we can with
I understand that. And right now, I guess our biggest deal is we just have to stand on our faith and know that Jesus Christ is with us, and hopefully the whole country will be turning back to their faith and to God. We need to put God back in this country.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for those comments. And again, I think this Easter weekend was frustrating for a lot of folks. I can say I was one of those folks. When you're quarantined at your house and you can't get together with your family and friends like you're used to doing on on a holiday weekend, it's frustrating. So I think it's, we're not used to this. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And so the quicker we get out of this, the better. But I think everyone has been adhering to the guidelines and social distancing and doing the right things. I haven't heard, we might hear from law enforcement today, but I haven't heard of anything that's beyond the control of law enforcement or some of those issues. So, but I do think we're going to, we want to discuss whether we're going to extend this proclamation and for how long. And
I think that we do need to go ahead and extend it. I think at the point, maybe from week to week, or we'll look at it at every meeting, see what we need to do and see what the governor has to say, and then go from there. And
Please, excuse me. Point of order. I had some questions I wanted to ask Commissioners Court. I did turn in my report on item number 1. And my question to Commissioners Court is, are y'all going to allow these small private independent businesses to reopen? Or is it your expectation that they remain closed as if you are going to extend them?
I could probably answer that question. And we've had lots of phone calls from our office and the judge's office. You get two types of phone calls. One is we're not doing enough. One is we're doing too much. And so those are your two extremes, from the right side to the left side. We have not, as a community, as the judge and the commissioners or the law enforcement, gone and said who's essential, who's not essential. We haven't made those declarations. The governor has outlined who's essential, who's not. We have not made that declaration locally. So to me, that gets to be a trouble spot to decide. We get to decide who's essential, who's not. We have not made those calls here locally. So if someone has closed their business, they're doing it under the governor's order and not our order. And does that make?
I would like to remind the court that when y'all took your oath of office, you did say you would uphold the Texas Constitution and those bills of rights. So regardless of phone calls, I'm hoping that that's what's directing you to do the right thing, and that is according to what you took your oath with.
Right. These are difficult times, to say the least. I think a lot of people have done things because it's the right thing to do, whether it's socially distancing or not contaminating, whether maybe it'd be a hairstylist or something of that nature. So those calls they're difficult calls to make, and again, we follow the governor's direction. I think we're in strange times, and I can't say that any more than I have already. These are difficult times. So I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, thanks. And that was Marie Day, by the way. So thanks, Marie. Okay. Any other questions on item number 1?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to clarify something. I understand a lot of us get information from the governor's office, and I noticed that the governor has said that he will be releasing new guidelines this afternoon in regards to, you'll probably get into retailing, social distancing, and different things like that. And he may or may not. I do not know. I mean, I do know that I did get communication from his office that they will be releasing new guidelines today. Would it be advisable to table this declaration until we hear from what the governor has to say? Is that a suggestion? Or
Right.
You wanted dialogue.
Right.
I'm just trying to ask that question. And I too agree that we did have an oath to defend the Constitution, and right now a lot of this is unconstitutional, and it is new ground. We understand that, and we have to weigh that Constitution with the rights of the people. We're here to serve the people, not necessarily me, you, or anybody here. So I just want to throw that out for discussion,
Sure.
if that's possible.
at this point, I think that, sure, I understand the governor will speak later today, but I think we do need to go ahead and redo the disaster declaration, and we can always amend it at the next meeting if we need to. But I think we need to be safe within the guidelines that we want to abide by.
I'll agree with that, and I'll also add that we will be following the governor's guidelines, so.
Yeah, so in other words, no matter what we do, we're gonna follow the governor's guidelines, period. Right, okay, well, that makes sense. I would like to, excuse me, sir.
Go ahead.
I would like to go back to my very first objection of this information. It's not numbered, but down at the, next to the bottom area, it said about being also proclaimed about violation of this declaration may be punished by a fine or confinement in jail. I still have a very strong feeling about not supporting that. I wished we could eliminate that or strike that from the motion. And that's, if I were to vote against it, it would be because of that one issue, not necessarily not agreeing with the governor or this commission. I totally support Lavaca County and the commissioner and my judge, but I cannot support punishing people and then confinement in jail unless our good Sheriff Harmon is, unless he knows something about,
I would comment more on that. Again, it's been 3 weeks since our last meeting. We've had we've had at least 3 community meetings with our local law enforcement agencies
Yes, sir.
from Yoakum, Shiner, Moulton, Hallettsville, and our sheriff's department. Every community is different in how they're acting and reacting to this,
Okay.
and so we take that into consideration. What Precinct 3 or Shiner might be having an issue with is not the same as Yoakum might be having an issue with.
agreed, totally.
So I think we would defer, and we may allow Stuart to comment a little bit more on this, but law enforcement from some other agencies have expressed that they would need something to enforce. If they've gone to a site 2 or 3 times and they're still social gathering and not adhering to the governor's policy, then there might be a citation ordered.
Okay,
And I believe that was going to be addressed this week. I'm not putting Stuart on the spot, but so again, each of our communities, we have 4 cities in our county. Each city is uniquely different than each other.
would we, excuse me, I
Go ahead.
apologize.
No.
Would we not need to identify the penalty, and would we not need to identify the enforcement agency before we just gave a blanket approval of may be punishable by fine or jail? That's pretty much out there, sir.
And again, I think 3 weeks ago, we did, on our declaration that we made, we went back with legal and reviewing as well, and we want to make changes to that statement. At the same time, the state of Texas was doing exactly the same thing.
Okay.
And so the state of Texas has made a change. It's up to $1,000 in fine.
Yes, sir.
And punishable by, I think, 180 days in jail.
And who's the enforcing agency? The sheriff's department, local establishment?
I would say any law enforcement agency could depending on the jurisdiction of the issue. And then I believe there's talk now about having one court system, I guess, to overhear that. I'm looking at Stuart when I'm looking at this, but I think if there was a citation made within the county to come to one source, it would probably be the county court. That way we don't have their JPs involved with it as well. Again, these are different times.
Yes.
When we have law enforcement going out once or twice and people are not adhering to socially disband, there could be other things put in place, and that's exactly why that was put there.
But I just from what I feel as an appointed official, not elected, I feel that it's my responsibility to protect my precinct and the people that I govern over. But I also want to be intelligent enough to not necessarily go along with the flow, but to with the overall good of the Lavaca County. I'm here for Lavaca County and in Precinct 3. So that's where I stand, sir.
Can I add to that, Judge?
Yes, sure.
Also, I feel like that what we have in there, it's not necessarily against the people of Lavaca County. I think it protects the people of Lavaca County to the point to where if we were to have some people coming through the county.
I agree.
So we do have, if they would start some type of ruckus or whatever, social distancing or anything like that,
Yes.
that gives us a right to protect the people of the county.
Okay. is still a little nebulous in by
That's
by
your opinion and what.
To me, it's no different than, I mean, in county court, when you have to fine someone $6,000 for a DWI.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yes, sir.
But it happens.
But
And so,
there are
there are
guidelines for
guidelines,
that.
exactly.
Minimum and maximum, sir.
and that's why, again, this is my first pandemic. I'm not sure about you guys, but,
I hope we don't have another one.
it's something that, hopefully this is gonna get better.
Absolutely.
Before it gets worse.
And we pray for that.
And I do know in some instances where I believe Victoria was in a curfew-induced environment, I believe they feel like some of those people that were in a curfew environment has come to our county as well, and for other reasons.
Well, you mentioned Governor Abbott stopping commerce or travel in and out of the community, of the state. I think he deputized Department of DPS, Department of Public Safety, to either not necessarily to identify those people, and then for those people to self-quarantine or quarantine for 14 days. So that's what Louisiana, their agreement is right there. But we don't have, if someone comes into Lavaca County, we're not spelling it out. Am I just swallowing that am I
Right.
way off base on that, or?
We would be operating under state guidelines.
Okay.
Up to $1,000 and 180
Okay.
days
All right.
for a violation. All right, any other questions?
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the court.
I'd just like to say, I hope we see the break in the clouds here real soon, but I think until then, we probably are gonna have to stick to this declaration and do as we're doing.
And again, the declaration does open us up to funding and resources if needed. And so we need to have this in effect for those uncertain times that could be coming in the next couple of weeks. So,
I'd like to make a motion, we keep going with the COVID-19 disaster declaration and look at it next meeting.
okay, next meeting will be on the 27th.
Let's date it the 27th.
Okay, so a motion has been made by Precinct 4,
Second.
second by Precinct 1, to keep our proclamation COVID-19 disaster declaration in effect until April 27th. So we've had a motion by Precinct 4, second by Precinct 1. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
And let's have show of hands on vote for approval. We have 4 to approve, with Precinct 3 not approving. Motion passes. All right, next agenda item, approve the proclamation proclaiming April 2020 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I have a proclamation here. A proclamation of Lavaca County by Lavaca County Judge Keith Mudd, whereas over 280,000 children in Texas are reported as abused or neglected every year, and whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by whole communities and need to be addressed by the entire community, whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, youth service organizations, and the business community, and whereas everyone in the community should become more aware of child abuse prevention and consider helping parents raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Now therefore, I, Keith Mudd, County Judge of Lavaca County, and in such capacity, I do hereby proclaim the month of April 2020 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Lavaca County. I encourage all citizens to help prevent and respond to child abuse by strengthening families and contributing to all children's physical, emotional, and developmental needs.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the proclamation proclaiming April 2020 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Second.
We have a motion made by Precinct 2, seconded by Precinct 1 to approve the proclamation proclaiming April 2020 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 3, approve the proclamation declaring the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2020 as National Correctional Officers Week in Lavaca County. And that proclamation, whereas correctional officers have the difficult and often dangerous assignment of ensuring the custody, safety, and well-being of over 600,000 in our nation's prisons and jails, Their position is essential to the day-to-day operations of these institutions. Without them, it would be impossible to achieve the foremost institutional goals of security and control. Whereas historically, correctional officers have been viewed as guards, occupying isolated and misunderstood positions in prisons and jails. In recent years, the duties of these officers have become increasingly complex and demanding. They are called upon to fill simultaneously custodial, supervisory, and counseling roles. The professionalism, dedication, and courage exhibited by these officers throughout the performance of these demanding and often conflicting roles deserve our utmost respect. The important work of correctional officers often does not receive the recognition from the public it deserves. It is appropriate that we honor the many contributions and accomplishments of these men and women who are a vital component of the field of corrections. Whereas, in recognition of the contributions of correctional officers to our nation, the Congress, by Senate Joint Resolution 132, has designated the week of May 3 through 9th, 2020, as National Correctional Officers Week. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Lavaca County Commissioners Court, do hereby proclaim the week beginning May 3, 2020, as National Correctional Officers Week. We call upon state and local governments and the people of the United States to observe this week with appropriate ceremonies and activities. Do I hear a motion?
yes, Your Honor, I'd like to move that we approve the proclamation declaring the week of May 3rd through May 9, 2020 as National Correctional Officers Week in Lavaca County.
I'll second the motion, Your Honor.
We have a motion made by Precinct 1, seconded by Precinct 2 to approve the proclamation declaring the week of May 3rd through May 9, 2020 as National Correctional Officers Week in Lavaca County. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sheriff.
Number 4, approve the hiring of Greg Yannick as Precinct 3 Heavy Equipment Operator at Grade 5, minimum quartile, effective April 6, 2020.
Your Honor, we have had Greg Yannick go through all the paperwork, and he is a CDL heavy equipment operator. I'd like to hire him at Grade 5 minimum quartile, effective April the 6th, 2020. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Was that a motion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that is a motion.
It is
I
a motion.
apologize.
Okay.
Yes, that is a motion.
Precinct 3 makes a motion.
Second motion, Your Honor.
Seconded by Precinct 2. Precinct 3 made a motion, seconded by Precinct 2 to approve the hiring of Greg Yannick as Precinct number 3 Heavy Equipment Operator at Grade 5 minimum quartile, effective April 6, 2020. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 5, appointment of local health authority. That is our county health officer, and we are fortunate enough to have 2. Find my paperwork. I don't have actual paperwork, but it's Dr. Tim and Wagner and Dr. Ralph Wagner. That's correct?
That's,
Okay, so Dr. Tim Wagner and Ralph Wagner of Shiner will serve as our county health officer. They've allowed themselves to serve, and we will swear them in at some point if this court approves. So I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I'd like to move that we appoint Dr. Tim and Dr. Ralph Wagner as our county health
Officers.
authority officers.
Second motion, Your Honor.
Okay. We have a motion made by Precinct 1, seconded by Precinct 2 to appoint local health authorities to our county health officers position. That would be Dr. Tim and Dr. Ralph Wagner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 6, approve attached Exhibit A surplus property for Precinct 3.
yes, sir, Your Honor. I would like to also thank Treasurer Ms. Baluna and her assistant, Mrs. Tobola, for helping on itemizing this large list. I would like to make a motion to approve the Exhibit A surplus property for Precinct 3. And it shows Exhibit A of old equipment that has been lying, not used, and almost too expensive to replace. So those are 16 items, so I certainly will communicate with all the commissioners to see if there's some salvage of their particular area that they would like, and some great parts, if you have
Okay.
a matching piece of equipment.
Right.
But I would like to make that in the form of a motion and thank Treasurer Beluda and her staff as well as helping. Thank you.
Second.
We have a second? Any discussion?
Just for clarity, so you are declaring this as surplus property?
Yes, sir, and I understand that we all can look and see if there's something that you might need or whatever, but yes, before I put it on Gov Deals, we'll certainly go through everything, sir.
Okay, we've got a motion made by precinct 3, seconded by precinct 4, is that correct? Correct. To approve the attached Exhibit A as surplus property for precinct 3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, discussion of, item number 7, discussion of budget fiscal year 2021 process. And I believe, Marie Day, do you have a question? Or not yet?
After you discuss.
After I discuss? Okay,
Don't know if I have any.
I understand. Okay, you have a new judge, and we have a new process that's going to be starting soon. Shayna Opel is our auditor, and she's going to take the lead on the budget process, and she's going to take the lead by sending out the budget request in the next couple of weeks. And so we'll have some more instructions from the judge as far as what we're looking for as we go forward. But I do want to clarify this time that this will be a 5-way panel discussion over the budget departments, and I want to make sure that that's clear. So this group right here of 5 people on this Commissioners Court will make those decisions together as we go forward.
Do we have a specific deadline when those reports or requests will be made to the auditor? Do we have a hard set deadline?
We have not set our own internal hard deadlines yet, but that information will be coming in the next, probably between now and the 27th. We'll start to have those dates set out there, so you'll have plenty of time.
End of the month, departments will get their budget requests, similar to in other years.
I know there's been lots of chatter amongst other judges with Senate Bill 2, and I think with this disaster situation coming in play, I think we have to be compliant with Senate Bill 2 by next fiscal year, but there's no way to even go that route this year. That's what I've been told. But anyway, we'll have more information by the next meeting, for sure.
Good.
All right. So we have, there's really nothing to decide on item number 7. But that will be do we need a motion? Do just discussion? Okay, so we'll move on to item number 8, discussion of county building repairs and maintenance projects. I wanted to bring before this body just to keep everyone in the loop of what's going on around the county, especially as it relates to the courthouse and with the annex. Some of the projects we want to do at the annex, we're calling it the Annex Restroom Remodel Project. There's 2 restrooms in the back of the annex that are used primarily for employees and for jurors. And those restrooms are in pretty bad shape, and so we're going to try to do an internal project where we can Gary and Chris can go in there and remodel that project. We're going to make 2 bathrooms. The idea is to do unisex bathrooms, so whether you're male or female, you can go into either one of them. And we think we can do that for around $3,500. At least that's the bid that Gary, his project estimate. Number 2, the Annex Probation Break Room. We've already done this project. We removed the old carpet from it and retiled it. We used old tile that we already had, or some tiles that were unused somewhere else.
Question, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Back to the restrooms. Do we have to have any handicapping conditions in there?
They will definitely be ADA compliant.
Okay.
And Gary has got all the specs on that as well. And so he's mapped them out.
Okay.
for him. So, anyway, item number 3 is the annex rear main awning. The main awning, as you come in the back of the annex, most employees, sometimes you drive through there, it looks like looks like a ghost town, but the employees park in the back predominantly. So we already have the awning material that's been around, sitting here, and so Gary's been working on that and is starting to work on installing that. Item number 4, courthouse windows / Hurricane Harvey damage. it may or may not be known, but this building has been damaged by Hurricane Harvey and other rain incidents. We've received, I think, $12,000 from our insurance company for Hurricane Harvey repairs. That was back in 2018. We have not taken action on making those repairs. One of the issues was finding a contractor to help us with those repairs at the time was difficult. The second part of that is our windows are the main culprit. So we are working through the Historical Commission to find out what we can do to seal up our windows before we do the repairs. So it's something we have to do. There's no sense in doing some of the paint and the water damage repairs until we've sealed our windows. So that's going to be our main issue. We have not heard back from the Historical Commission, but I believe Fayette County has sealed their windows and had permission to do so. So we'll be looking at that. Another issue in the courthouse is the drain system. Right outside of Egan's office, there is a drain that's to the outside, and water from the outside comes in this drain and then runs through the building and back to the other side of the courthouse. And so we had B&E come out and look at that drain. It was not looked at during the renovation project, so we're now looking at that drain. And so we think we've got the problem solved and cleaned it out, but it does happen it does flood the basement sometimes in a heavy downpour, and Egan's not happy. If Egan's not happy, we're not happy right now. Number 5, the courthouse air conditioning software update. Again, the software has not been updated since the renovations that took place, and I think that was about 10 years ago. And so we're going to update with new software and put that on Gary's computer so he can control the AC units from his computer. And then lastly, I've got courtroom technology update. Talking to Judge Old, the district clerk's office, we've got old sound equipment in the district courtroom, in this courtroom, and we don't have any sound equipment in the county courtroom at the Annex. So we're going to be looking at upgrading that equipment as well. We have these 1962 microphones, and we might could update that. So anyway, that's just some of the things that we're working on through the judge's office. Just wanted y'all to be aware of it, and that's why we're discussing it today.
What about ceiling tile across the hallway in your offices over there?
Ceiling tile?
Yes.
Will be taken care of
Once the windows, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's part of the damage from Hurricane Harvey, I believe.
Yeah, I believe.
So, yeah, so that would be included in that. And I think there's a lot of things we can do in-house. Gary and Chris think if we get the crane or the man lift, that they can do the windows themselves, and they would be sealing the windows and also cleaning the windows. And that would be probably a week or 2 week project. Again, they think they can do it. I'm not sure if it's possible, but we'll have to reassess. But I just want to make sure.
Commissioner Precinct 1 can't do it, I know that.
Precinct 1 does not do windows. I just want to make sure that this court is aware of what's going on and what we're doing, what we're faced with, so, okay. All right. You're welcome. I lost my agenda. Okay, next, yes,
I appreciate the discussion.
do you?
I really do.
I do too.
Openly and honestly, and I don't want to overuse the word transparent, because that's overused, but letting the people know, letting us know, I think it's a good point. Thank you very
I would
much
agree.
for that dialogue.
Thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so that brings us up to item number 9, or wait, hold on. Marie, did you have any questions about number 8 before we move on? Okay, she said I'm good. She gave me the okay sign. Number 9, accept the termination of employee number 445 from the judge's office effective Tuesday, March 24th, 2020.
Make a motion to accept the termination of employee 445 from the judge's office effective Tuesday, March 24th.
Second motion, Your Honor.
We've got a motion from Precinct 4, second by Precinct 2, to accept the termination of employee number 445 from the judge's office effective March 24th, 2020. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 10, accept the resignation of employee number 1133 from the Maintenance Department effective Monday, March 30th, 2020.
I make a motion to accept the resignation of employee number 1133 from the Maintenance Department effective Monday, March 30th.
Second motion, Your Honor.
The precinct made by A motion made by precinct 4, seconded by precinct 2, to accept the resignation of employee number 1133 from the maintenance department effective Monday, March 30th, 2020. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, item number 11, discuss or approve the subdivision, re-subdivision of tract number 31 in the Deer Oak subdivision. And that is in your packets. And for clarity on this, I believe Mr. Cosio met with me and the surveyor and the landowner of that particular tract. That is out in precinct 1. Way out there on off of County Road 14. There was no big issues with that, except there is no county roads going to that property. And there were some private roads going to that property, and we wanted it clear in the record that there would be no county road going to the property. And so we had them put that in the language. So I would accept a motion to approve.
Yes, sir. I will make a motion that we accept the re-subdivision of tract 31, the Deer Oak subdivision in precinct 4. 1, sorry.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion made by precinct 3, seconded by precinct 4, to approve the re-subdivision of tract number 31, the Deer Oak subdivision. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, number 12, advertise for full-time administrative assistant position for the judge and commissioner's office.
Your Honor, I make a motion to advertise for a full-time administrative assistant, a position for the judge and commissioner's office.
Second.
We got a motion made by precinct 2, seconded by precinct 1, to advertise for a full-time administrative assistant position for the judge and commissioner's office. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, next we have our consent agenda. Unless a member of the court requests a separate consideration of any items, all under the consent agenda are considered to be of routine nature or have been previously deliberated by the court in an open meeting and therefore may be approved by one motion, second, and vote.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a motion to amend item number 15 to correct the spelling of the last name of David Shanefield. The proper spelling is Schoenfeld, and that's my motion.
Okay. Motion made by precinct 2,
Second.
second by precinct 1 to amend David Sheffield's name on item number 15. Excuse me. And could you spell that one more time for the court?
Schoenfeld.
Schoenfeld.
No, F-E-L-D.
F-E-L-D.
Schoenfeld.
All right. Any other amendments to these?
I have a question about item 22.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
For budget amendments, I'm just curious how, if there are any, and I don't know that there are because it says if any, are there any items in your, I assume that you guys give the budgeted items to the packets that you hand out? How can the general public get copies of budget amendments? Is that something that is that something we can request before the meeting so that we have those packets as well? How is that handled?
Possibly, and I'm gonna have to defer to the older, wiser ones here, but I think we do have I did read there wasn't some agenda item amendments. Let's see.
The budget amendments are always attached without a budget amendment number, because my office, the auditor's office, processes those budget amendments that are needed through every commissioner's court meeting. The ones that are on there today are from the district clerk's office, the county attorney's office, Road and Bridge for precinct 3, and for FMR for precinct 3. And they're just ordinary, common budget amendments that are moving budget amongst their department.
Right, so the clarification is that it's in your packet.
Correct.
So when y'all vote on your consent agenda items, the court has had a chance to review them before making and approving the motion, is that correct?
Correct.
Gotcha, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Go back to my page. All right, so we had a motion by precinct 2, second by precinct 1, to make a correction, and is that the same motion for the consent agenda as well?
I'll do it separate.
You do it separate, so let's do the first, let's do the motion to, a motion made by precinct 2, seconded by precinct 1 to change Mr. David Shanefield's name.
Correct.
All in favor say aye to that amendment.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, that amendment passed.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, got a motion made by precinct 2, seconded by precinct 1 to approve the consent agenda as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. Do you have anything to sign? That concludes the bulk of our meeting, except we have some things to sign, so I don't know if you're going off the air with this, Egan?
Whatever you all want to do.
Yes, ma'am.
On Facebook Live, so Adrian, I'm hoping that all the technical difficulties have been cleared. And he said he'll take those microphones from 1968.
They'll go to surplus. Thanks, Marie. What is date? Okay. Now, those, we have to swear them in, correct?
Paula has that information, you know,
All right, so this is just appointing, okay,
this is just.
gotcha. Is the 13th.
Just, that's just, original would take care of the most work.
Okay. Thank you.
It shall begin on 4/13 and end on or before, which is, who's,
this up?
I don't know, the dates here is the same as, we just crossed through, but 2021?
Well, we put 2020 and then 2021.
Okay. We're terminating on 2021?
If that's what y'all want, and
No, that's fine. It's a new gentleman doing it, and he did it over the weekend, and we communicated. Thank you very much.
And this was not on the agenda item, but Liz Koba has served 40 years for Lavaca County. 40 years, April?
Oh, yeah, it started April 1st.
April 1st? So
40. We should be.
that's a
paid.
short amount of time. Give us another 40. Is there any other item of the court or any agenda item for the court to discuss? Any other court business? Looking for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Precinct 4, second by Precinct 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.